I think my biggest takeaway, at least from a position player standpoint, is again going back to the caveat that statistics do not matter, right? But what you want to see is you want to see people who have their timing down. You want to see good behaviors out of them. You want to see them hitting the ball hard. And we are seeing that from the people who you really want to see that from, right? Henry Davis had a great spring. Not only at the plate, but behind the plate too. Like he looked like he could be a major league catcher. There was really nothing that happened at all this spring where you go and you say to yourself, Henry Davis isn't a catcher. I think
Right.
he showed that he's capable of playing the position. Now it's like, can you handle it for like an entire season, right? Like, can you go through the grind of a major league season as the catcher? So that's the next answer. That's the next question he's got to answer, because that's difficult to do, and it's also difficult to do. If you want to hit, like the reason why catchers don't hit that well is because catching is such a grueling thing to do that you're just beat. Like you don't have a lot of energy to go up there at the plate and be a really good hitter. So that's going to be kind of something to watch for this season. But as far as the rest of the guys go, I thought Andrew McCutchen, coming off of the Achilles injury, you wanted to just sort of see him healthy. And not only has he been healthy, he had a great spring. It's only 8 games, but you're Kutch. You don't need a whole lot of time to ramp up. But I think the interesting thing with Kutch here is that he was playing some outfield towards the end of spring too. And I was talking about this with Tyler over the weekend, but we kind of went into this season just expecting Andrew McCutchen's not giving us anything except, DH, right? But if Andrew McCutchen can give you 1 start a week in the outfield, that opens up a lot of opportunities for this team to be able to move guys around, get them more playing time, maybe give, the people you need to give off days, occasional off days where they can slot into that DH spot, right? Like I'm talking O'Neal Cruz, Brian Reynolds, Henry Davis, those 3 people in particular. When they're off, if you can give them a day off at DH while Andrew McCutchen is maybe out in right field, that's valuable, right? Because then you're not taking that bat out of the lineup. So if Andrew McCutchen can play defense once a week, that's big. And the fact that he went out spring and played basically 2 full games in the outfield is a really, really good sign. O'Neal Cruz, we saw his spring, just looked great. Like you wanted to see him kind of pick up where he left off after that injury, and he looks like he has. Let's see who else. Jack Swinsky was hitting the ball hard, especially towards the end there. Brian Reynolds, you're not really paying too much attention to spring training stats, but he was just kind of there getting his reps in. So you kind of feel comfortable with that. Yeah. I think
I just want to throw this out there. So you're not worried about Reynolds. Cause like you say, everyone that you want to see did well. He's like the one, at least on the offensive side, that really didn't produce.
Yeah. So when I say statistics don't matter, like I do really mean that in one way or the other. Right. So Brian Reynolds didn't have a great spring, right? I mean, but he was able to get 15 games in, 46 plate appearances. Not worried about Brian Reynolds in the least bit. Yeah, so from an offensive standpoint, like lots of encouragement. I think I would have liked to have seen more Michael A. Taylor. I think he only got into 3 games actually. But he's a veteran too, so hopefully he doesn't really need a whole lot to ramp up. And hopefully he was, facing live pitching and stuff during that whole time period. But lots of encouragement on the offensive side of the ball.